Give me a lowdown of life was like at the start before joining the process, mate.
So we spoke about before I started with you back in January. I was 27 stone or far off in December. I was struggling to walk. I was struggling to exist with the rheumatoid and with the degenerative disc disease and everything else. It was difficult. Struggling to be a father. I was struggling just to be alive. Obviously, I was made redundant, and I want to take some time off to solely concentrate and get myself healthier and fitter again to be able to exist. I was in a bad way. I was taking 5 or 6 attempts just even off a chair with a walking stick as well. It was really bad. I used to just exist when I was 4 on 4 off. 4 days off would be just being able to prepare myself for the next 4 shifts. So I would do next to nothing. I think 500 to 1,000 steps was a regular daily thing. The data there proves as well, looking back the other day on Fitbit, actually. It was hard, mate. It was hard. I was obese, really overweight. And a lot of it was down to circumstance of where I was with my medical issues as well. And I was unable to fight it. I think if I started back work straight away, there was no way in the world I'd been able to do what I've done.
Awesome, mate. Awesome. I think that paints really, I wouldn't say good, but that paints a realistic picture of where you were at for sure. What did you try at that point to get better? Obviously, you've mentioned it was having a severe impact on life day to day, struggling to get out of the chair, struggling with daily movements pretty much. What have you tried at that point before the program to be able to live life again by the sounds of things?
So, like I say, it was hard because the 4 days off was literally just relaxing as much as I possibly could just to get myself back into work. Leading up to that, back in 2019, I lost 11 stone with Slim World, and it was great, don't get me wrong. COVID happened, and that sort of came to an abrupt end. Then I went on the calorie counting process with a different PT. It was great, in all fairness. Then I caught COVID and put me in hospital for a month. I was unwell, ended up having rheumatoid arthritis, and I think it just took sort of a massive negative impact on me. A lot of things, rheumatoid isn't an overnight thing. Things happen slowly. So I noticed then over a few years, my health just declining, and back from when I was a young child, difficult childhood, food was always a happy place for me then. So whenever I ate, it made me feel a lot better. So that's what I reverted to basically for about 4 years, which ended up putting me in a position where I was really struggling. So I was trying every 7 weeks. I had 18 days off. After about a week, I felt sort of not fit, but well enough to try and go to the gym. So every 7 weeks, the PTs would see me. Oh, you're back again? I'm going to try. As soon as I was back in work, downhill. I would revert back to what I did before, where it was I can just go and deadlift, or I can just go and squats, and I lift heavy, and I always hurt myself. There was no structure. There was no plan. There was no case of just chicken and rice. It was just, I'm chicken and rice, that'll be all right, I'll be fine. And as soon as I was back in work, bang, I was in a bad place again, and it would be crisps and sandwiches and rolls and pasties and all my favourites. It was a vicious cycle. So it came to a point where the redundancy came. It was a need for me to sort of take a look at myself and what I can do, but I didn't know where to start. I didn't know, knowing that with the degenerative disc disease, with the rheumatoid, I thought, I spoke to physios and they said, you can't exercise, you got to do this, you got to do that, avoid lower back. I was like, well, I don't know what I can do. I trained all my life with rugby, boxing, just getting my own fitness sorted. I didn't know where to go, I didn't know what to do. That's when I needed help.
Understandable, mate. And I'm not surprised it didn't work for you at that time, because Liam, I know, likes to eat tasty fucking food at the end of the day. And of course, going in and just trying to push harder, doing exercises that weren't probably suitable for that reality that you were facing. No wonder you were struggling to progress at the rate that we know you can progress at off the back of the last few months. So what made you decide to join this program specifically? Obviously, you've tried calorie counting, you've tried just eating chicken and rice, which I swear to God, every single bloke out there tries to do a microwavable rice in a packet and so on. But what is it specifically about this program that made you decide to join it?
So I didn't want to go for a one-on-one PT. It wasn't a case of I need to go and see someone once a week and they'll just send me on my way and I'd have calories to hit every day and I wouldn't be held accountable. I needed someone who would be able to monitor my life and help me change my life. So our mutual friend Dan is a fantastic person and PT. And he said, you're the most intelligent man he's ever worked with. And that sort of resonated with me. So I looked at what you was doing on your Instagram and I seen there was a specific thing you said. You don't need to do 9-10 exercises a day. You don't need to go in the gym 2 or 3 hours a day. So for me, it was, well, okay, what can I do if it's just 2 or 3 exercises a day? Will that work? And there was little things you were saying, lifestyle changes. It wasn't just, here's the calories and go away. It was, I'd be able to track and monitor you, keep an eye on you, give you advice. Well, that would work better for me. So in a sense, it was like Slimmer World, but at least this time I could learn about food. So I thought, if I can do that, so what was stuck in my head, as we've spoken about many times, is if I have that kebab, I'm going to gain weight and that's it. And that sort of stems from where I was in 2019. Which is no way a dig at where I was then and Slimmer World and all the rest of things. But it didn't work for me. That wasn't the process I wanted. I wanted to work this time with a better understanding of what I put in my mouth and what comes out and what I do and all the rest of it. So when I see the videos you put on, I thought we'd give it a go. And don't get me wrong, I was skeptical. I was thinking, is it going to work? Is it? No, these 2 or 3 exercises I can do with everything I've got going on inside my body. I thought it might be impossible, but we give this youngster a try and see where we go.
Love that, mate. Love it, mate. I totally get it, though. I totally get it in the sense of it comes across probably like, oh, that's not possible. If you've been conditioned to do it in a certain way for so many years, as you've mentioned, there's not just going to be like, oh, that's possible. There's always going to be a little bit of doubt there because of past experiences.
100%. There's no way in the world. No way in the world I could just do 2 or 3 exercises with minimal steps. Every step I take is in pain. Every single thing I do is in pain, no matter what I take, all the rest of it, especially back then. So I was thinking, there's no way in the world you could put me on a plan to get me where I am now, of over 100 pounds or something like that. I don't even know whether it's stone or kilos. I got no idea. I just do it every day.
Love that. So that's the next point that I was going to cover, mate. You've mentioned here about your fat loss. So how much have you dropped in total and what's looking like right now for you compared to struggling getting off the chair, struggling with the day-to-day life you mentioned at the start?
Like I say, I think I find it easier in a sense that when I weigh on a scale, it's in kilos. Kilos are lost to me. I'm very old-fashioned to stones and pounds. I knew he says over the 100-pound mark. I think I worked out last about 7.5 stone, 8 stone, around that mark, I think it is. I'm not really sure. Maybe a bit less. I got no idea. But I lost a lot of weight. And I've done it eating kebabs, having the odd beer. I don't drink much because of the medication I'm on. But eating kebabs, eating chips, eating all kinds of food, still hitting my goals, still hitting my targets, having the odd pint. So life now, like I say, it's still difficult, as we won't go into detail, but it's still difficult. But it is 100 million% better. It's looking back to where I was and to where I am now is a whole different person, which is probably what I've lost in weight. It's a whole different person. And it was done using the minimal cardio, minimal strength exercises, all focused to stay away from my issues, my back, etc. And I'm able to now get up off my chair. Sometimes in 2 attempts, sometimes in 1, it depends. I'm able to be a better person, but more importantly, I'm able to be a better father, because it's difficult when you're in a position where I was struggling just to take the kids to their activities, just to be in their lives where they could look and be proud of a father. In my sense, they probably were, but in my eyes, they can look at him over there struggling, holding onto a wall outside the school because I could barely stand. I still have days like that, don't get me wrong, it's good days and bad days, and everyone who got disease will know that's just life. But I'm definitely in a better position now, and I can't thank you enough. Crazy the difference.
Love that, mate. Absolutely love that. And I am actually getting chills through my body as well, because as I said to you even before this call, and I'll repeat it here, it's great to track how much weight you've lost. You've lost well over 100 pounds. It's great to see the strength progressions you managed to achieve. All of that is brilliant. But the reality is, as you said, you're a better father. You're a better person. You are, by the sounds of things, actually living life rather than going to work, recovering to go to work, and just far from the version of Liam I know. So that's why I think my body's like, who shakes, mate? But it's all very, very positive. And it's just been mind-blowing how many challenges you've had along the way that would have made it so easy to default back to the old ways. But your thinking is just completely flipping different, and it's inspiring.
Well, that's the thing I usually come on to. I think I mentioned earlier, as a life coach, you're the kind of person will go do these exercises, here's the calories, off you go. You check back in a week or two. You have mentored me mentally. You've mentored me through difficult challenges. I was in hospital a few weeks ago with my back, and you've changed my thought process where it's a positive way of thinking. It's not just, okay, it's happened, I'm now going to be miserable. Let's cheer myself up with 8 cans of Guinness and a kebab, cheese and chips and mayonnaise on, which is my favourite. It's a different way of life. The tools you've given me, and it's not just a case of, well, read this, have a look at this. You send things over. I didn't understand it. You helped me out with it. I go, what does this mean? You're a very, very well-educated man, young man. And I would suggest your program to absolutely anybody. I have many a times. It's not just a PT. Being a very, very cheap therapist. And that's been fantastic, mate. It's been fantastic.
Thank you so much for this, mate. I really do appreciate it. This is the second person out of 3 that have done this so far. Oh, there we go. We've got some balloons. We've got changes in background. But you're the second person out of 3 that have actually said that. And it's really, really interesting. I always try and make it holistic because I know for a fine fact that covered in nutrition in university, yes, it gets you so far. Exercise, training, yes, really important. But there's another layer underneath all of that that people just don't explore. And it's the reason why, in my opinion, 70% of people struggle to see results. And unless you address those, do the hard work that no one wants to do, everyone thinks it's just in the grind of pushing in the gym, people don't move forward. So you've done all of that and beyond. There's evidence for that through the last few months. And I'm confident that we'll get you to exactly where you want to be, mate. And the end goal is for you to, unfortunately, leave and smash everything with regards to life afterwards, mate. So that's the end goal, mate. And based on what I've seen from a behaviour perspective, it's just a case of time, mate.
It's everyone has different ideals in life. I said, I look at somebody in the gym with water-powered muscles, let's say. I think it was, I'd like to look like that. I could look like this. Perhaps I could have something, and it's just not realistic for me in my life. It's within my disease and maybe something different, but that's not my success factor anyway. My success factor, like I said, was to be able to walk my kids down the island 10 years time, whatever long it takes them to get married. If they ever get married, we never know, but it's to be able to live in a position where I'm a healthier state of life with my wife. We got a long future ahead of us, hopefully, where she's not going to be after carting me around in a wheelchair a lot of the times. Maybe some of the times, who knows? It all depends. But so that's where my sort of aim started. Did veer off a little bit. Perhaps I could get these muscles, and I still got some arms, mind. Don't deny that. But no, it's a different sort of metrics of success. That's the word you use, isn't it? So for me, it's being healthy enough and fit enough where I'm going to inject myself with some munja or whatever they call it. That's not what I wanted, where you come off it, you just start eating loads of food again. I wanted to be in a position where I know I can control where I'm going to be in my life. If I ever hit the roadblock again, I said, well, I can deal with it. Might take a week, might take a month, might take a day. Either way, I know I can get back to a success factor because I knew where I was at last time. This little wins as well. They definitely been the big ones. I think I said, I put my favourite, and even back at the start of the year, I put my favourite jacket on again. That fits. And I said to you about, I think this is about March, maybe been about February, March, where my old man fleece was too big for me. And I remember that being the first one. My old man fleece, I dropped, I had to go in the shop, I had 3XL. After many people, like 3XL, oh my God. But to me, from a 5, 6, 7 XL to a 3 XL in that short space of time, that was amazing. Little boosts like that, little wins like that. It's not a case of 1 week I might lose 2 kilos, 1 week it's half a kilo. That's by the by. It's little successes. So I remember when it got a little bit warmer, I was on the beach, and whereas it usually would be, I'd walk, amble, then down the step to 1 or 2 steps, sit down and just throw the ball for the dog. Now I was able to make it down the steps, stop halfway maybe, but I get down to the beach and I'd go, I'm all right now. Whereas now I'm at a point where on a good day, I can walk, fair stretch, I'm all right. It's mad. So that success factor for me is bigger and looking like Johnny Waterboy in the gym.
I'll be stealing that expression, mate. Waterboy in the gym. Brilliant. I've never heard anyone use that, so I think this one's niche to you, mate.
Well, I don't want to say the word anabolic steroids, you know what I mean? But the Waterboy will do, won't it?
Waterboy will do, mate. Honestly, thank you so much for all your openness. But I think most importantly, mate, just as I said to you even before the start of this call, for all the hard work you put in, and I'll reiterate this again for anyone listening, it's about creating an environment where people can think, where people can get better at. But that's all I can ever do. But you've utilized that environment to completely change your life, mate. And as I said to you at the start of the call, take some flipping credit, otherwise I'll fly back to the UK and steal your chair.
You take to the last.
That's true.
No, I am very proud of myself, and so is my family, which is great. I didn't think it was possible. I genuinely didn't. I think there's no way in the world I could be in a position where I was able to do what I've done. That was impossible. And the minimal exercise as well, nothing crazy. And it's only 3 days a week. It's absolutely insane.
Love that, mate. Love that. I forgot to press record. No, joking. All good. I'll put that.